Welcome to Stranger Than Fiction. We all know the sensitive topic of murder and how gruesome it can be. We also know whether we like it or not, it's something that happens all over the world, all too often. During this video we will delve into some of these shocking murders. Here are 10 notorious serial killers. Ted Bundy. Bundy was a charming law student who used his charisma to approach and abduct young women. Bundy's motive for killing was often sexual gratification, and he confessed to over 30 murders. He targeted young women, often college students. Bundy was captured in 1975 and eventually sentenced to death. He was executed in 1989 by electric chair. John Wayne Gacy. Gacy was a respected community figure, often dressing as a clown for charity events. Gacy sexually assaulted and murdered young boys. He killed at least 33 young men and boys. Gacy was arrested in 1978, found guilty, and sentenced to death. He was executed in 1994 by lethal injection. Jeffrey Dahmer. Dahmer was an introverted and seemingly ordinary individual. He lured, drugged, and murdered young men and boys, often with a focus on preserving their bodies. Dahmer killed 17 men and boys. Dahmer was arrested in 1991, convicted, and sentenced to multiple life terms in prison. He was later killed by a fellow inmate in 1994. Aileen Wuornos. Wuornos was a prostitute and drifter. She claimed self-defense, asserting that she killed men who had attempted to rape or harm her. Wuornos killed 7 men between 1989 and 1990. She was captured in 1991, convicted of murder, and sentenced to death. Wuornos was executed in 2002 by lethal injection. Richard Ramirez. Ramirez was a drifter with a history of criminal behavior. He engaged in a spree of home invasions, sexual assaults, and murders. Ramirez killed at least 13 people in the mid-1980s. He was apprehended in 1985, convicted, and sentenced to death. Ramirez died in prison in 2013 from cancer. Dennis Rader, BTK killer. Rader was a church leader and family man. He derived pleasure from torturing and killing people. Rader killed 10 people between 1974 and 1991. He was arrested in 2005, pleaded guilty, and received 10 consecutive life sentences. Ed Gein. Gein was a reclusive farmer in Plainfield, Wisconsin. He engaged in grave robbing and created macabre items from human remains. Gein was responsible for 2 confirmed murders. He was arrested in 1957, found not guilty by reason of insanity, and committed to a mental institution and later died from lung cancer at the age of 77. Gary Ridgway, Green River Killer. Ridgway was a truck painter and a family man. He targeted sex workers, luring and strangling them. Ridgway confessed to 71 murders, making him one of the most prolific serial killers in U.S. history. He was arrested in 2001, pleaded guilty to 48 counts of murder, and is serving a life sentence without parole. Albert Fish. Fish was a seemingly harmless elderly man. He engaged in extreme acts of sadism, including cannibalism. Fish's most famous crime was the abduction and murder of Grace Budd in 1928. He was arrested in 1935, found guilty, and executed in the electric chair in 1936. Andrei Chikatilo. Chikatilo was a Soviet schoolteacher. He sexually assaulted, killed, and mutilated children, adolescents, and young adults. Chikatilo was responsible for at least 53 murders. He was arrested in 1990, convicted, and executed by gunfire in 1994. These individuals committed horrific crimes, and their actions have had a lasting impact on the lives of their victims and their families. It's important to approach discussions about such cases with sensitivity and respect for those affected. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment below. Please like, share and subscribe for more.